Well, good morning, folks. Welcome back to 3 Zen. Bobo here. As promised, this is Airline Day, so I've got a couple stories for you about some experiences I had at the airline. First, we were on a river visual approach to Washington National in Washington, D.C. Now, what that is air traffic control will put us in a place about 10 miles north of the airport, just over the Potomac River. And this is flown usually day VFR. I don't think they flew it at night. I can't remember. But anyway, typically day VFR. And what the object was to fly down the river versus up the creek. Down the river, and they had suggested altitudes at certain mileage points from the runway. Okay, that's fine. Matter of fact, it was kind of fun to fly because you're coming down the runway doing this and this, or coming down the river just back and forth like that. So it was kind of fun. You're losing altitude, slowing up. So there's a lot going on. Okay, so we start this drill, and about 5 miles out from landing, I hear the tower controller give clearance to American Airlines to take off. You got to be bagging me. So I look out, and sure enough, there's American Airlines perpendicular to the runway, and he starts taxiing into position as slow as he could possibly taxi. You know, I don't know what was going on. But I looked over at the co-pilot, and I said, this dog's not going to hunt. I said, start thinking about a go-around. No sooner had I said that when the tower controller calls us. He said, Northwest 168. He says, you're cleared for S-turns on final to provide spacing for yourself. Oh, right. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm nearing 1,000 feet, which we were supposed to have a stable approach. And I'm going to fly S-turns to give myself spacing. I'm going to go over the Pentagon, and then I'm going to come back over the Lincoln Memorial, and then I'm going to come back, and oh, geez, I'm not going to do that. But at any rate, I just came back and said, unable. And shortly thereafter, it was really apparent that this whole thing wasn't going to work out. So I just called up tower and said, we're on the go. We're going around. So as we started to go around, got it cleaned up, got down midway down the runway, maybe toward the end. I look out, here comes American right with us. No, it wouldn't have worked. At any rate, that's just one experience I had going into National. I might as well tie this one in too. This is a good story. One of my last flights into Washington National, when we went into National from Detroit after 9/11, we had to call for a secret word to tell the air traffic controllers on the way in the secret word of the day, and it changed every day. Okay, so I call up to dispatch when I'm in Detroit, just filed my paperwork. I call up to dispatch, and I get hold of the dispatcher for the flight. I said, all right. I said, Captain Holliker, I'm standing by for the secret word. And he says, oh, today the secret word is raincoat, or whatever it was. Raincoat. Now, I'm within 2 months of retiring. I really didn't care anymore. I said, raincoat. That is really clever. I said, who thought that up? So here's the deal. We're on an open frequency. We're going into Washington, either into Dulles or National, and we go over to air traffic control about 9,000 feet, or arrival control about 10,000 feet, whatever it is. They say, standing by to copy the secret word. So you come back and say, raincoat. Once you say raincoat, everybody in the world knows the damn secret word for the whole day, because they only change it once a day. Good Lord. That proves these guys never watched combat when they were kids or read Sergeant Rock war comics. Good Lord. Anyway, it was what it was. And no use charging that bureaucracy. You're not going to win. Okay. So I said to the guy, raincoat, that's really clever. I said, have you guys ever lent any thought to using words that perhaps would not be so natural for those other people that live over there in the desert to say? And he says, what do you mean? I said, try using a word like ecclesiastics or Czechoslovakia. Try using one of those kind of words. I said, watch them get tongue-tied with that. But at any rate, Raincoat works. I'll be in and out of there. See you, bye. Okay, fine. So we get on control, Raincoat, you're cleared to land. Another thing that we had to deal with going into DC at that time, within 30 minutes of landing, everybody had to stay in their seats. You had to stay in your seats. If Joe Schmo got up for whatever reason, got up, I had no choice as a captain. I had to divert to another station. I just didn't have any choice. Well, the flight from Detroit to DC was less than 60 minutes usually. We had just enough time to get up, cruise for about 5-10 minutes, and we're starting downhill again. We're within that 30-minute window. And so I'd come on. I said, listen, folks, I said, this is an FAA rule. And I said, I don't know if I have an FAA examiner in the back or not, but if somebody gets up, I will divert. And because I don't have any choice. Never had any problem with it when I put it like that. But the funny thing was, you could take off from Baltimore, okay? And when you're taking off from Baltimore, you hit 10,000 feet pretty quick, certainly within that 30-minute window, and you can turn the seatbelt sign off and let people dance in the aisleway. I don't care. They can get up and go anywhere they want. But if you're within 5 minutes of landing at, not maybe that quite, but you're pretty close to landing at National or Dulles there. But if you're coming in from any other station, you have to be in your seat for 30 minutes upon arrival. Tell you what, we often find that common sense and good judgment are poor substitutes for FAA regulations sometimes. And while I'm on this rant, we're in December. I am so glad that the FAA wasn't around when Orville and Wilbur first flew. They probably wouldn't have gotten off the ground. Well, I'm in a cynical mood today. And it's Christmas. At any rate, I hope everybody's having a great holiday season. With that being said, Merry Christmas to you on Airline Day. Oh, Bobo, base gear, stop. Almost got me.